Operation Sindoor has been one of the most historic operations carried out by the Indian forces. And the world has watched how India carried out this operation. It's for the enemy to see. It's for the people across the world to see. But it's unfortunate that time and again, we have to reiterate our stand. We have to clarify what has been done. Air Chief Marshal AP Singh has, on Saturday, set the record straight how India inflicted damage on Pakistan. And he also sent out a big message to those who are always looking for Saboot, a big message to the Saboot gang. And of course, many others who claim to, in fact, also have, broken the deal, broken the ice, claiming to be the peacemakers. Well, more on this, I have our defense expert, Air Vice Marshal Srivastava. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us once again on Republic TV. And, it's such a great day when we see that our serving chief, he is so proud and he tells the entire world how we carried out this operation. But beyond that, if you read beyond the lines, it actually shows that one has to come out and say this. The NSA did that few days back. The political leadership has also been doing that. And now a serving air chief has to come out and tell the damage that has been inflicted. But before that, sir, in your understanding, in your expertise, how big was the air operation? Like 6 aircraft, 5 fighter jets of Pakistan downed and an aircraft. That is that too. The airwork system, that's very important. That's eyes in the skies, sir. This is such a glorious mission that was led by the Air Force.
Rakshita, it's a pleasure being on your show. But what you said that Air Chief had to come out and state publicly to his citizens that yes, we have done it, which was always, narrated by people who are not so very, along with us. Like BBC said so, New York Times said so, Al Jazeera said so. But actually, a serving air chief has to come and say, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. Okay, so I take it with a little bit of pain. But if you talk about the operations, which is a primary question here, I'm little pained, if you ask me as a citizen, as a veteran, why we constrain and force our serving chiefs to talk about it. They've done their job. Everybody else knows what has happened. And we must celebrate. The first thing is you must celebrate. Actually, he has given a conservative estimate, if you really ask me. Our operations on both spectrum. See, it was a synthesized operation of Indian Air Force, Indian Army, Indian Navy, and some 3 forces which you don't talk about it, but they played a very, very important role. Therefore, it's known as the multi-domain operations. The other domains were space domain and your cyber domain and your electronic warfare domain.
Right.
Unless you have these domains in place, you actually can't launch this kind of air operations, offensive and defensive. We first went, if you go by the chronology, we went only for the punitive strike. Now, a lot of times this question is asked, why did we pause? We paused because our aim at this point of time, the selection of aim was that we give a punitive strike of the type that the terrorists do not dare to cross the borders to create accidents which we don't like and which are not good for our citizens. So we had to punish them, and they can't hide behind the lines of Pakistani army, or so to say ISI. So this was done on 9 centers. They were devastated, and it was communicated that if you do not respond, we are here, we have done our job. The way it was done so precisely, I would say it's a thing which will be studied in air warfare books in times to come. Today we can debate, we can create a narrative, we can talk about all things what opposition keeps saying. But I'm telling you, as an air warfare practice, it will be seen. How can you bring about an enemy on its knees in just 90 hours? Then second, they responded. Our air defense network worked perfectly well.
Yes.
And we were able to, that's what he said, we were able to shoot 5 of them, including their airborne platform of command and control. warning command and control. So that's a big hit. And that was done at 300 kilometers away, which is the farthest which has happened in recent conflicts. And it was done so precisely. That says that our operations, the way we synthesized our prowess, all prowess. That's why I mentioned about space, about electronic warfare, and about our ICCS and Akash Tir. They all came together to give us that result. And that was in a way that blinded the enemy. We went about hitting their all radar stations. The command and control center, if you ask me to pick up, at Noor Khan, was a great hit with precision. The underground command and control center, they had to almost say, no, never got hit, but we could make out through the satellite imagery. Bholari, their one AEW&C on ground was taken care of. Sargodha, they were all very critical hits. We sent a message, you can't fly out there, you can't attack us. So now what's the option with the enemy? The enemy will propose for the ceasefire. Unless there's a huge asymmetry, Rakshita, nobody comes begging to you that please ceasefire. Because we have still not opened up the water. The IWT is still under abeyance. So they haven't got what they wanted to get. We have done our job and we must celebrate as a nation. Each citizen should be proud of it because it's a whole of nation approach. I'm telling you, even the opposition must take the credit because it is their country and their power which was manifested within Indian Air Force, Indian Army, Indian Navy, and all that we have, because governments come and go. It's a continuum of armed forces which will continue to defend us. We have come out, but we stand proud of the people who are still there and doing the job for us. So we hit them very, very hard. And the numbers, what he said, let me tell you, on a lighter vein, he has been very, very conservative. And I know he's a conservative man. He speaks very little. Whenever he has spoken, he's created an uproar.
Right.
Whether it was about Tejas or it was about this,
Yes.
he creates a kind of uproar because he says very meaningful words.
Yes.
I'm proud of him, and I stand really, really very glorified that such a man is heading our Indian Air Force, and so are other generals. They are there. We remain disciplined, professional. We don't talk about our assets. Losses, when you ask the next question, I'll cover it. What others are talking about losses and how we count our losses and what do they mean to Indian Air Force or Indian Army or Indian Navy. So for the time being, I think I'll go back to you in the studio.
Yes, yes. You mentioned about, I'll just quote him where he talked about the, longest strike. That he was talking about the longest strike in one of the kills that he was mentioning about. So if you could just shed some light and explain to our viewers the importance of that and how it speaks volumes about our capabilities.
Yes, absolutely. We have a system. We talked about the system too. We have that S-400 over which we had a lot of controversies. And our political will could only get it into the nation. We had the sword of Katsa hanging over us. We had all kind of pushes on us that you can't buy this. We were given an alternate system to buy, but we said we want to buy this system. The system came and it is operational and we used it. Now, nation knows and understands why we insisted on it. It's a very, very beautiful system. It has a range of up to 400 kilometers. We hit it at 300. Even Russians have not done it so far. The longest they have gone in our kind of understanding is some 200 kilometers away or so. So when you want to hit over there, what else you need? You asked a very, very beautiful question. You need precise coordinates. You need to exactly know where that target is. Targeting information in real time. And that's where space comes in play. We have radar intelligence available through space. We have EM, electromagnetic intelligence, available through the space. We have imagery intelligence available through the space, Cartosat satellites. So all that when you combine, you also combine with your cyber information, whatever you have. You place everything together along with the signature of the aircraft. And then the terminal, of course, the missile itself takes care. But you have to be firing it in the right direction through the right skillful people. So it takes machine, it takes multi-domain operations, and it takes your systems which will point it to the right thing. And using a base from where it can hit it without any problem. So that comes through your ISCCS. So it's a composite operation which gives one result which becomes visible. If you miss any one of them, the system will really not work as well. So we normally talk about what we call OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. This OODA loop must be completed in a time which tempo of war wants. And tempo of war was very high. You ought to do it in less than few seconds. So we did it. Actually, this is what is very, very important for the nation to understand. We have done it. That means we have that ability, capacity, and that empowerment within us, and with our own systems, with our own people. Training is our own. The way we handle the equipment is most important. So if you really ask me, I'm proud of my armed forces. I'm proud of our scientists. I'm proud of our engineers. I'm proud of my, defense public sector undertakings, all private companies. They all come together to give us the national power. It doesn't come on its own. It doesn't come through the channel of one person or one. And most of it, I'm absolutely proud of our political leadership, because we have lived through the age. I retired before this new leadership came into being. We lived through the age when we, almost boiled with anger and everything after 2008 and so many other strikes, but we were held back. Maybe I'm not commenting on why we were held back, but yes, we were held back. We did not respond. It's not a controversy for a veteran like me to create, but yes, there was no political will to hit back. Political will to hit back, that yes, we will chase you and hit you back wherever you are placed. You're not safe. Because if you don't hit back, you create safe havens. Even as per international laws, you're permitted to do the hot chase. Somebody strikes you and you know who that somebody is. That's not called the violation of sovereignty. That's called hitting that guy who came and hit you, and he can't go behind and hit back. Therefore, you must have noticed in all that hustle bustle which went on, nobody said, why did you attack? We are not called the aggressors. Did you notice this very fine point? We are not called aggressors. We are defending ourselves.
Yeah.
You hit our innocent citizens. You hit the people who are most vulnerable. So we ought to show, what is the rule position? In case any one American is caught anywhere, the whole of American armed forces can come and for his or her rescue. So if you have that power and that kind of equation, why not our citizens? We need to give them, because that's how a nation becomes a proud nation. So we took first care of them. We did not hit the common Pakistani citizens. We did not hit the military installations. And that, in my aim, if you really ask me today, I can tell you, I'm proud that we could select so neatly and hit so precisely.
Yes, sir.
It's something to be really, really proud.
You mentioned about how there was lack of political will. The same, leaders from the same dispensations of the party talk about hands being tied. They say this, on the floor of the parliament. They cast aspersions on our forces, on the political leadership as well. They ask that they were not given a free hand. And here you have the Chief Marshal saying that, that we have been given full freedom. Not just that, he also addresses some corners also say that, we could have gone in, even further. Or marna tha. He said that very clearly, that, or marna tha. But, we do not work on the basis of ego or arrogance. We had accomplished our goals and we wanted that. And as a nation, we took the very right decision. So he has spoken. I think he has, answered all the questions that have been doing the rounds. So, again, I think it's a precision strike by the Air Chief Marshal himself, sir.
You're right, Rakshita. We have been saying at the loudest, whatever you can say. See, when we fight or we go for operations, I would call it an operation. We select and aim. There are 14 principles of war, and the most important, the first principle of war is selection and maintenance of aim. So as a political leadership gives you, after a lot of strategic, geopolitical situations, geostrategic situation, a particular aim. Was our aim to start the full-fledged war? No. Was our aim to take on POK? No. It was not the time and place. That will be another dimension, another ball game. Our aim was, we went through an incident which as a nation was very repulsive, and we had to do some response to this game. So we took political actions. We took the action on treaty. We also decided that we have to strike the heart and brain of this terrorist activity. So we chose targets with great precision. And now our purpose, armed forces were given the task to hit them precisely. When armed forces were given the task, the hands are not bound. Hands are not bound, as Air Chief has rightly said. They have not bound him. It is for him to select the weapon. It is for him to select the time of window when he is going to strike. It is for him to conduct the suppression of, what we call enemy air defenses, SEAD operations. It is for him to see how he gets the target coordinates, how he fuses everything, and which weapon and which air platform he chooses. Whether it's going to be a naval strike or an air strike or a ground strike, it is given to him. Whether he's going to use munitions, loitering munitions. We ask from the leadership the weapons. And when the bouquet of weapons you have with you, now as a war fighter, as a chief, he's to decide in the war room what he's going to do to achieve the objectives. But suppose as a professional, you get excited because you hit it very hard. It doesn't, a true professional will not go beyond that. You have to be a very cold professional. Because you're here for the country. You're not here for soothing your own emotions. I may feel very excited to do something. Had that been there, we would have been like Pakistan. See, Pakistan, the army rules the state. State doesn't have the army. Army has the state. We all know that. So please, if I'm able to be with you and give this message to our countrymen, ladies and gentlemen, we had full freedom, and we can make out by the actions we did.
Right, sir. Just finally, this political angle, unfortunately, as we just began by talking about it earlier, we just made a mention that how time and again proof, evidence has been asked. Air Chief Marshal AP Singh was very clear when he said that, we have laid to rest the ghost of Balakot. And this time around, he's made it very clear that, those questions should not arise again. I'm still waiting to understand from those leaders from the opposition who had made those statements and raised those questions. I don't know if they have some more questions left or not, and it will be unfortunate if they still have, but we can't really predict that. Because we've not seen this happening, sir, in any other country. We've seen that conflicts are happening all around, all across the globe. But, such questions being raised time and again on the capability of our forces, on our operations, on our leadership, that is unfortunate. You feel that there has been, the doctrine shift that has taken place over the years, and with that, now communicating. That is very important that we communicate. And we say, I don't think so anybody should be thumping their chest, If the forces carry out an operation, we should trust them. But I think when NSA makes a statement, when the Air Chief Marshal makes a statement, I think the record should be set straight and clear for once and for all.
I think the people who are raising such questions, they also know the truth. And I think always in our country, we are very democratic, very chaotic. So beyond everything else, we have certain degree of politics, certain degree of optics. So that's not my domain. So I would refrain from that. But I want to just pass last message that yes, we have won, and all citizens must celebrate and be proud of it. Our chief has already stated what he wanted. Please understand it and leave Army, Air Force, Navy to do their job. while you keep doing your job.
Right, sir.
Thank you very much.
Air Vice Marshal
Thanks.
P.K. Srivastava, thank you so much for joining us with that, for that conversation on the latest comments by the Air Chief Marshal. Viewers, thank you so much for watching Republic TV special podcast. We'll be right back with more such conversations.